All right, hi everybody. It is officially still Friday night for the next few hours. If you happen to be watching this not live, okay, we started this about 11:40 p.m. on Friday night, heading into the early stages of the overnight hours into early Saturday morning. So I just want to let you know that if you're watching this at a later time. Of course, you're watching live, welcome aboard. We are still tracking a few severe storms locally at the moment. A lot of these have shown some signs of weakening north, but it's still that one right there approaching Franklin County is still quite strong. It has had a history of some rotation, and we're going to keep an eye on that because, it's approaching neighboring parts of Marion, eventually Jackson County with time. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, and we'll be here as long as the storms are a threat. Once they start dropping more below severe levels, then we can kind of break away. But it's not going to be impacting everybody. But at least for some, we're still watching that storm right there. I'll show you the wider view of the radar as well as these storms are quickly developing. Ken, have a good night, man. Good weekend. So let's take a look at this. This is the one storm that still has a severe thunderstorm warning along it for Franklin County. That's out till midnight Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. Wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. But if you've been watching some of our live streams before, I noted this is outlined in orange. It's because it has had a history of producing some rotation with it. Still some there, so it might have a quick spin up tornado. So it's one of those elevated, a little bit higher priority severe thunderstorm warnings. That's what that is. So let's take a look inside of that. And if I show you the velocity scan, it's very broad now compared to what it was once like. In fact, if I pull the velocity scan over just a little bit, when it was over Fayetteville, I'll back it up just a little bit so you can see this. Come on, cursor. There you go. It was near Fayetteville. There was pretty more well-defined, and now it's a little bit more ragged with any rotation with it. So that's a good sign. But nevertheless, still some very strong wind gusts. It's also just north of the high top radar site, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. The general movement is to the east at 40. And it could be producing a little bit of hail with that too. It's right just west of Winchester. Still west of Swanee. Swanee, technically, you're not under that warning polygon. Okay. So let's move this to the east at 40. Hypothetical storm tracker here. Now, if it holds together, this is where it could move. Most of these are all in central time, but Winchester next few minutes, Swanee by the top of the hour, and a few minutes after that, Mount Eagle. Okay. If it holds together, what's left of that storm, South Pittsburgh around 11:23, 12:23 Eastern, and as far east as Long Island around 11:35 Central Time, 12:35 Eastern, of course. So that's overall where that storm will be moving. Again, we'll keep an eye on that as far as its severity. Looking at another screen here, it still has some broad rotation with it. It's not as pronounced as it once was. It's a little bit broader. And that's been the case. Is a lot of these have headed eastward a bit. It's running into a little less energy. Our energy got zapped with that initial line of storms. So we'll see if that is the main catalyst here that weakens it a little bit more. We'll come back to this storm in a minute. But let me show you some of the other storms going on. And again, it's very spotty, and a lot of these are not that strong. Raining heavily near Crossville. But all these others, these were really strong an hour ago. These were massive lightning producers over near Thompson Station, Bell Buckle area, and then it just broke it apart. Okay, so not quite as bad. And folks, I see all of y'all's comments here. What about my location? We're getting there. Okay, so I'm showing the whole map. I'm going to show you where these are moving. If I don't bring up your city, maybe you're not affected. Okay, but I'll get there. So please let me give me some space here, and I'll try to answer that for you. Give me some time. Anyway, storm up near Crossville. A lot of rain with it, a lot of lightning. No advisory, no warning with that. And I'll show you just a velocity scan with that. I don't think there's much in the way of strong wind gusts. This particular cell was a little stronger over Middle Tennessee. It's got some pockets of wind gusts, 30 to 40. So it's possible there in Cumberland County, some 35 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts. That's below severe levels, but wind accompanying the rain and occasionally some lightning moving right there through Cumberland County. And you can see the Steering flow, moving it along to the east quite rapidly. So I would say between now and 11 Central, midnight Eastern, it'll be making its way through Cumberland County. These others, not severe. It's this one lone storm right there. That's the only one. Farther south, not much happening either. In fact, you look at these cells in and around Huntsville, never really got going. And that's a good thing. So it's mainly this cell right there. That's the strongest one locally at the moment. Now, ironically, this is interesting. The Storm Prediction Center lowered the severe threat overnight for most of us out of it, and mainly just confining it to Franklin County and out to Jackson DeKalb. Again, that's the Storm Prediction Center outlook for the rest of the night, and mainly just sort of a damaging wind threat over that same area where that storm's moving through, and then the rest of the area not so bad. So, I mean, that's good for the rest of the night, but we still got to watch that one lone storm, where it goes, how it holds together. But all the other storms are not severe. So I don't anticipate being here very long through the overnight, but we just got to watch to see where that one storm goes. Okay. So to update you on the rest of the day, Saturday, we're still at that level 2 risk Saturday. And let me say this again. This is not an all day washout Saturday. Not at all. Saturday's going to be much like today. You can go to the pool. You can go to the lake. You can do your outdoor activities, what you need to do. First half of the day is okay. Mix of clouds and sun, partly sunny, hot, humid, and highs upper 80s. But then mid to late afternoon, you need to start staying weather alert, because that's when some storms could become severe into the afternoon and early part of the evening hours. And like today, some of those may provide some damaging wind gust. Overall, 15% chance locally. I'll back up one frame. Notice that level 3 risk, that enhanced risk, is right a little sliver there of southern DeKalb County. So we might see that expand a little bit with their future updates. Just keep that in mind. But it does show you that it does jump to a 30% chance of strong wind gusts, southern DeKalb County, Collinsville, Albertville area. But the rest of our viewing area, about a 15% chance, similar to today. Tornado threat, similar to today as well. It's a low wind threat. It's not zero. And it's seriously, when you have storms like this, there's always going to be that ever-present small chance there. Okay. And of course, the hail risk, like today, some could have hail about the size of a quarter. We had a few storms that did produce that, but it wasn't too widespread, but that chance remains there. So overall, if you're looking at Saturday, I would keep an eye on that 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern time frame for that chance of a line of storms. That's with a first line. There might be some secondary development behind it into the evening and late stage of Saturday night, but just for that first initial round, because successive rounds behind it are really hard to time until you have that first round roll on by. So judging by the models tonight, it looks to be between 2 and 6 on Saturday. Move it in. So we'll continue to monitor that and watch that tomorrow. Bill Race will be here, and he'll keep you updated all throughout the weekend, as he always does. Does a great job at it too. So let's go back to the current radar view. Tell you what I'll do also. Let's make the radar a little bigger. Not me. Radar. There we go. And again, we continue watching a couple of areas. Again, a lot of this not severe. It's very loud up in Cumberland County, but not severe. Not severe in Bledsoe, Grundy, Sequatchie, all not looking too bad. It's this one cell right here near Winchester that still has that severe thunderstorm warning attached to it until midnight Eastern, 12 o'clock Central. Let me do a quick velocity scan. I pulled up the wrong cursor there. There we go. And you can see very broad rotation. It's much more broad. It was really tight couplet there over Lincoln County. Now, not so much. It's kind of like a figure skater pulling out the arms a little bit, so the spin's a lot wider, broader, slower. Okay. When a figure skater pulls their arms in, it's a smaller, tighter, faster spin. So this looks to be what that's doing there. And we'll continue to monitor that. But, potential strongest wind gusts near Winchester now. And that line is, of course, in a curved nature. You can see it right there. So right along Highway 6, US 64 right here. And still just to the west of Swanee. So we're going to keep an eye on this storm. We hope that weakening trend that's gone on with all the others continues. That's what we want to see. North Georgia, not much going on. It'll be dependent upon how much this holds together. And if it moves east, could it impact Marion, Jackson, Dade? With time, we'll see. all these others, not so bad. Let's go to Cumberland County. And again, we noted on the velocity scan, there's some wind gusts 35 to 40 in this area. There are no advisories, no warnings, but it's pretty windy there on the plateau, and occasional lightning toward Pleasant Hill, several pops there, but not too bad. And the lines represent the steering flow aloft, what's pushing it along, which direction it's going to go. Okay. So between now and midnight, some pretty good downpours, midnight Eastern, pretty good downpours in Cumberland County. That, of course, between now and 11 o'clock Central. Somebody just asked me about Dunlap. Dunlap, not a whole lot going on. You have some rain. You have some rain coming back in from the western part of the plateau off the mountain, but none of this is severe. Okay. And again, I don't see this cell here going toward Dunlap. So Dunlap, you're looking okay. Heads up, though, Swanee, Mount Eagle, South Pittsburgh, Bridgeport area. We'll see what happens with this cell. We hope that weakening trend continues. Angel asking, we're camping in Spring City. Are we good? Well, let's take a look at that. Well, okay. Now in Spring City, you're no doubt hearing the thunder up on the mountain. It's right there. Now, if you're in and around Spring City, the heaviest of this will probably move just north of you. Like that. But I'd be aware, if you're camping around Spring City, you're going to have some downpours currently now. And over the next half hour, some pretty steady rain. Be aware of some lightning, okay? Because that cell over Cumberland is carrying some lightning with it. So there might be some lightning very close to you as what's left of this passes just north of you. So it's going to be rain, little lightning. So just stay safe, okay? But not a severe storm threat, okay? Elsewhere, got some light rain, Saudi, Whitwell, Dunlap, Tracy City area, okay. And our main concern is watching this cell here near Winchester, now south of Estill Springs, approaching Swanee into Franklin County. So that severe thunderstorm warning out till midnight Eastern. It has had a history of having some rotation with it. That's the reason why it's outlined in orange. It's more that elevated, higher priority severe thunderstorm warning. And if you look, let's look at the velocity scan with it again, right along the county line. It's a little broad, a little bit of rotation there. North of Huntland, right along the county line. We'll see what happens there. And likewise, near Winchester. But it's not as pronounced as it once was, but we'll watch that. And again, all the other cells, this in Grundy County, rain, roaring of rain on the rooftop, though not severe. And same thing across Van Buren, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, Ray, all looking good. And this cell's not severe in Crossville, but it's producing some wind gusts 30 to 40. It's got some rain with it. It's got some lightning, but again, not severe nature. Across North Georgia, you're looking okay. Dalton, Lafayette, Tryon, those areas looking good. All right, we got an updated advisory here on this cell through Franklin and now northern Jackson County. This is the one cell we're watching. So here's the text of this advisory. It gets a step below severe thunderstorm warning. It's out for the next hour, okay? Strong thunderstorm will be impacting north central Jackson County, southeastern Moore, and east central Lincoln and Franklin counties through 11:45 Central. That's 12:45 Eastern, all right? Radar indicated a strong storm over Winchester moving east at 20. Pretty slow movement. Wind gusts up to 50 and pea-size hail. So there are some signs of some gradual weakening with that, okay? So hopefully it looks like that advisory may replace the warning at the top of the hour. We'll see if that's the case. But Winchester, Estill Springs, Huntland, Timms Ford Lake, Swanee, Anderson, Hurdlow, and Maxwell community all could be impacted by this over the next hour. But again, that is the strongest storm locally at the moment. And the fact that it's slowing down, the upper level wind slowing down just a little bit. You can see the wind flow is kind of right along into the east, but there has been less energy the farther east these storms have moved. The reason why they're kind of slowing down and kind of fading out just a little bit. And we're hopeful over the next hour that one continues doing that. If it does so, then we're looking pretty good the rest of the overnight. It's really, really now, unlike what it was like earlier on this evening, now we're looking at more just kind of a rogue storm being about it through the night. Otherwise, things will be pretty quiet overall. The rest of the activity locally is not strong. Again, we're watching this for neighboring parts of Marion and Jackson. Now keep in mind, the reason why this polygon has an odd shape to it, it's not that it's going to scoot around the county. That's not it. It's because this is by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. Marion County jurisdiction, county warning area, is the National Weather Service in Morristown. So again, Huntsville has issued this for northern Jackson and all of Franklin. However, Marion County, possibly with time by Morristown, may issue an advisory likewise downstream. So kind of an odd shaped looking polygon there. Seems to be a little split in the line there, just south of Winchester. Right in there. Let's go look at the velocity scan again. Yeah, it's very broad, that rotation there near Winchester. But if we zoom in just a little bit, the pocket's a deep red. I'll pause it a second. Some of those gusts approaching Swanee. Let's see. 30. Kind of 30 to 40. So, yeah, their estimation here was a potential gust up to 50. Now, again, that's what the radar shows. There might be an individual pocket of gusts that gets a little bit stronger. Okay. But folks asking a lot of questions here. This is not like what it was like earlier on this afternoon. Okay. This is a lot different. This afternoon, we were dealing with storms moving into a more favorable area for development. Now it's a little less favorable. So it's not going to impact everybody the next several hours. So if I'm not mentioning your town name, I'm not ignoring it. It's just that it may not be impacted. Okay. But all this other activity north of that storm in Franklin County, all this other activity is below severe levels, a little noisy out there, lightning, rain, but main movement is off to the east. What in the world? It's all moving east. Okay. And then down across North Georgia, farther south down here, there's not a whole lot going on. It just depends upon if this drops farther to the south, but there's not a whole lot going on. Brian, baseball in Athens tomorrow morning, I think looks pretty good overall. There might be a few stray showers left over, but I don't see anything severe that would maybe affect the game. I really think the first half of tomorrow, beyond an isolated shower early, first half of Saturday looks pretty good. It'd be cloudy, then partly sunny, and then the stormy period mid to late afternoon. So you might be able to get that game in Athens tomorrow morning. Are we still technically Friday? Yeah, still technically Friday. And just to show you again, the Storm Prediction Center has significantly lowered the severe risk for the rest of the night. You know, this is just through the rest of the night. So it's much lower than it once was. Higher wind threat, again, right where the storms are now, but indicating more stable air mass farther off to the east. And again, tomorrow, we're back to that level 2. But again, this is for mainly the afternoon hours and into the evening hours as well. So it's not all day tomorrow. Again, as I've stressed, if you got outdoor plans, you can go ahead. It's just going to be impacted for some storms mid to late afternoon. Highest risk factors for that: a damaging wind gust. There's always going to be that low end tornado threat. That's the risk tomorrow. It's low, but not zero. And we'll be closely monitoring that, and a low end chance that some could produce some large hail. That's basically area wide. So the breakdown for Saturday, damaging wind threat and some hail. I'd say the approximate timing of that first potential round Saturday, anywhere between 2 and 6 Eastern, west to east. Okay. And there could be some successive storms after that. Okay. But that's when that potential first line could roll on by. Let's go up here to Cumberland County for a second. Pretty elongated area of heavy rain, a lot of lightning. It's below severe levels, but we'll take a look inside again at the velocity scan. There's been some pockets of where winds have been a little gusty up there on the plateau, that part of Cumberland. So you may have some gust, still 30 to 40. It's not severe, but again, that wind accompanying the rain. That extends back to Lantana. That area around 127, but no advisories of that. But that's just the broadest area of heavy rain. All these other pockets, not heavy. Altamont, some downpours. North of Tracy City, Whitwell, Soddy, Dunlap, all some rain, but not severe. And same thing in South Pittsburgh. Now we're getting some heavier downpours toward Mont Eagle and Swanee. That line really kind of breaking up a bit. Yay. As we approach the midnight hour. You see kind of breaking up just a little bit, but still possesses that chance for some strong wind gusts. The severe thunderstorm warning has expired. Double yay. So we start the weekend. But still this advisory out. They may extend this into Marion County. Again, it's an odd-shaped polygon because Franklin and Jackson, that's the county warning area for Huntsville. Marion is a county warning area for Morristown, which they issued the advisory. So this will be out for the next hour, really 45 minutes, I believe. 11:45 Central, 12:45 Eastern. For some occasional wind gusts up to 50, maybe some pea-sized hail with that. But it is a little weaker than it was an hour ago. We were doing our newscast. Boy, that thing was pretty strong looking. Now it's a little bit weaker. And we're hopeful that weakening trend continues. Yeah, there'll be some rain and lightning at times during the night, but overall, the chance for severe storms is now isolated. It's no longer as strong as it once was. And let me take you back a little bit. I'll show you the clouds and radar. If you were watching our streams earlier this evening, we talked about 2 clusters of storms. The one we were following early evening, there it goes moving away. Then we talked about the storm cluster coming out from Middle Tennessee, and there it is over us now. So that's the round 2. This is about to dissipate. So things are going to be quieter the rest of the night for a larger part of the area. We just have to watch that, what happens with that storm over Franklin County. If indeed the weakening trend continues, then we can go on to sleep and get on with our weekend. But then we got to be weather alert tomorrow. See, Laney says fishing in Tellico, hope to stay until at least 2. I hope so. I think you will be able to fish for a while there in Tellico, but if you are going to Tellico to fish, download that Storm Track 9 app. Make sure your location services are turned on because that will allow you to get alerts wherever you are and keep it out on the radar view. But always, if y'all have outdoor plans tomorrow, I noticed someone's asking about a horse show. Laney's asking about fishing. Before you go, have a backup plan already made. So you know where to go if you got to quickly move inside for a storm, okay? Elizabeth, no, the storm near Crossville had some wind gusts 30 to 40. I don't believe there was rotation. That's what she's asking. Is there any rotation? No, just some wind gusts 30 to 40, but not rotation with that. It's downpours and lightning. I know it looks a little ugly when you look at it from a reflectivity point of view, but that's just rainfall intensity. So we look at it from a velocity scan. This shows you what the winds are doing inside of it. And right now, that's pretty much straight line winds with it. And the gusts are between 30 and 40. A little bit of lightning, but not severe. Good question, though. But the reflectivity scan's a bit uglier because the heavy downpours of rain. All right, let's take a gander at this one. This is one that's had some strong wind gusts with it. Let's take a look over to Swanee. Yep, just some straight line winds there, it looks like. A 30. We can say 30 to 40 in that range, but not it's below severe levels. That's good. And that line break there along 64 in Franklin County, southwest of Winchester. Heavy rain and lightning, but again, kind of a broad area there, but more straight line. We'll watch that. Wind's not too strong. So we'll watch that. It does appear to have a bit of a weakening trend with that. Tops are kind of coming down on that. It's not quite as some of those tops around 30 to 40,000 feet earlier on, but the echo tops are coming down, so it's that's a good sign also. Some gradual weakening. Let's see. Look at it on this other screen. Yeah, some of the tops of these storms were peaking out around 50,000 feet, especially this cell was back over Moore County, but now it's come down a bit. So that's good. So continued sign of weakening there. But a very heavy rain, Mount Eagle to Swanee. Over up to Pelham. And again, you know, it's going to be some occasional. It's going to be a little windy up there. But no rotation there, just some straight line gusts. But right there over far northeastern Franklin County, you got some gusts, 30. That's between 35 and 40. So a little windy up there. But not rotating. So that's good. Let's just keep an eye and see what this little thing does here. But South Pittsburgh, you got some garden variety showers, heavy rain into southern Grundy, headed towards Tracy City. That Grootly Lager Bishop Springs area of Grundy County, some moderate downpours. So we eventually heading towards Dunlap. Notice how the wind flow kind of taking it that general direction. So you have some downpours come off the mountain there in Dunlap, though not severe. Same thing, Pikeville, Spring City, moderate showers, and there's Crossville with those heavy downpours. But again, this is not a severe round. In fact, the heaviest about to end in Crossville. Head towards Crab Orchard, right along I-40. Harriman, get some heavy rain. Spring City getting some downpours. Watch out for some lightning around, but the heaviest will pass just north of Spring City. Again, it's not severe. So again, it's a much quieter much quieter view there. Now, we'll keep an eye on what that does in Franklin County as long as that's still a threat. And once that threat kind of dies down, we can kind of wind down our storm tracking. So we don't have to do this all night long. This is a different scenario than what we were like several hours ago. We've done this is our third streaming session today. Then you add 90 minutes of newscast in the afternoon, 90 minutes of newscast, 10 to 11:30. It's been about 6, 7, 8 hours of storm tracking, 9 hours of storm tracking today. That's what I'm here for, though. That's what I signed up for. Let's see. Hello, Eric. Hello, Holly. Thanks for watching. Hello, Sherry. Hello, April. Hello, Noah. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Linda. Thanks for watching tonight. So again, locally, the only polygon out there is not a severe storm. It's mainly an advisory here for Franklin County. We've continued to see this weakening trend, which these storms are pretty strong when they came out of Middle Tennessee. In fact, I'm going to back up the radar for a second. I want to show you something. Let's go over the past. Let's go to the last 3 hours and show you how rapidly these diminish. It'll go through a loop once. Okay, I'm going to move the loop back. Okay. Let's go to about 10 o'clock. We started our Fox Chattanooga newscast. It was like, uh-oh. These storms look pretty nasty. In fact, for a while, that one near Thompson Station and Bell Buckle was stronger than this one. But then this one became the stronger one. This one weakened the farther east you went. So from 10 to 10:30, you started seeing a difference. This one started getting really strong. This one started to weaken quite a bit south of Murfreesboro. And then when you got to about 11 o'clock, it was this one that took over, started having some rotation with it. For a while, there was a tornado warning, or Doppler radar indicated tornado warning there in Lincoln County. Then it moved into Franklin County, and all of these have weakened considerably. So they are a shell of their former self compared to 3 hours ago. So I just want to show you now that even though things are kind of red on the map now, it's nothing like what it was 2 hours ago. So you're going to have some rain and lightning keep you awake there in Tracy City and all those areas up on the mountain near Mount Eagle. But again, these are not rotating storms. You have some wind gusts with it. You want to check out this along 64. This was really weakened quite a bit. Much, much weaker than it once was. Yeah. And just rain over South Pittsburgh. Thunder on the mountain. You're probably hearing that. And then we'll move up to Crossville. And again, this is an elongated area of rain. But I'll just show you that. Let's just go over the past hour. For the most part, it's just some wind. There's no rotation with that. With some occasional gusts up around 30 miles an hour. Don't worry about the purple. The purple is the radius of the radar. It doesn't mean anything. Someone asked me about that earlier. It's like, it's not purple rain. It's just, radius of the radar. Little interference there. Rain around Decatur. It's just rain. Pikeville, Sale Creek, all just rain. Looking good. And we're going to hold here while that advisory is still in effect there for Franklin and Northern Jackson until about the next half hour. So we'll continue to watch that. So Elizabeth asks, we're traveling to East Tennessee tomorrow afternoon. How will it be bad towards that way tomorrow? Elizabeth, I would say if you're traveling through East Tennessee tomorrow, stay alert mid to late afternoon. Mid to late afternoon into the early evening, that's when a potential line of storms can move through our viewing area between 2 and 6 p.m. Eastern. So through the rest of East Tennessee, I'd be aware late afternoon, early evening for a chance of severe storms. A lot of folks going fishing tomorrow. Heather asking, is it going to be okay to go fishing tomorrow? I think you can. It's not going to storm all day. There may be a few residual showers early in the morning, first thing, depending on how early you go out. But then after a cloudy start, it'll be partly sunny, pretty hot and humid, and then storms developing into the afternoon and evening, kind of like today. Okay, so you can do some outdoor activities, but always have that backup plan in mind. Know where you're going to go. If, say, you're fishing, you got to get to shore immediately. If a storm develops, keep that Storm Track 9 app so you can get those alerts to you. Okay, but have that backup plan just in case. All right. A little noisy up toward Mont Eagle, just east of Swanee now, and that's really getting weaker there over Franklin County. That's good. And again, everything else is pretty north of the state line. You get south of the state line, it's crickets. And again, it's only going to be isolated the rest of the overnight. Okay. Douglas says, yeah. I asked why everybody was fishing. He says he thinks it's free fishing tomorrow. I think I did hear that. Is that the date tomorrow? Is that the big fishing day? That could be why. Good point, Douglas. I haven't been fishing in a long time. I used to fish a lot when I was younger. A lot. And I just haven't had the time. I'm always here tracking storms. I have to get the fly rod back out at some point. I enjoy it, though. It's therapeutic. I go to the north here just a little bit. Heavy rain coming off the mountain near Crab Orchard. And Spring City, you'll be getting some heavy downpours just to your north there. Maybe a little bit of lightning, but again, this is not a severe cell. That's going to be moving out of Cumberland on into Roane County, just clipping far northern Ray County. Everything else not severe. Looking good. Again, we may not hold this live stream all night, so keep in mind that during the night, you might hear some claps of thunder, some roar of rain on the rooftop, but if we're not on live streaming, then it's not severe, okay? Just keep that in mind. We kind of limit the live streams when there's active severe weather going on, because if we were here live all the time, there wouldn't be as much of an urgency. You'd be like, oh, it's just on. It's kind of like a 24-hour news cycle. Sometimes they just start showing repeats because there's not much going on, but when it is some active weather going on, we want you to know that we're here, okay? Ryder asked, what's the biggest fish I've caught? It was this. No, I'm just kidding. That big. No, I don't know. By weight, it was probably a bass. I think I know I caught a 5-pound bass a couple of times. That's about it. So, pretty decent sized bass with a fly rod, but not, I've not been deep sea fishing. I'm just going to say I have a fear of deep water. I like going to the beach. I like going in ankle deep water. That's it. I don't want to be over the open ocean. I don't like that. But on the lakes around here, I'm okay. I have no problem with that. I don't know why it makes no sense, right? But anyway, so I've done mostly freshwater fishing. So I've caught some trout, but bass about three times. I know I've caught at least a 5-pound bass. So pretty proud of those. I'll let him go. I'm a catch and release. Now I've caught a ton of crappie. Do cricket fishing, on the line. That was if the bass aren't biting, then we switch to cricket bait. But that was kind of fun. But yeah, bringing back memories now. But it's been a long time since I've been fishing. Wow, Ryder says 8-pound bass. Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. That's really impressive for a bass. So I hope everybody, if tomorrow is that free fishing day, I hope everybody takes part in that. But, do so safely. I would advise you to get that Storm Strike 9 app, download it to your phone, make sure your location services are turned on, and it'll follow you wherever you go. So if you go to a neighboring county, it'll warn you for that county. It's a great thing to have. And you also check out the radar also. But keep in mind, if you do go out fishing, tomorrow, have a backup plan just in case. So you know where to go in case storms do develop. Okay. Lightning, thunder, and spots right now, but it's very sporadic. Tracy City, Mount Eagle, but not severe. There are some accompanying gusts there with Tracy City around 30, 40, but not too bad. Crossville, rain, lightning seems to be diminishing a bit. It's a little noisy in spots, kind of lining up the nighttime sky, but not severe. That's headed towards Roane County. And there's that one cell there that's really weakened over Franklin County. That'll be dropping down into northern parts of Jackson County. With some rain and lightning, though, the lightning strike numbers really come down. A lot of rain in Marion County, though not severe. So you can see locally, it's far different from what we had earlier on. There are no watches, no warnings, just a special weather statement advisory in that polygon that you see there to the west. Helen agrees with me here. She won't go on a cruise, and if she's in the water beyond ankle deep, doesn't like it. I'm same way. Yeah, I love going to the beach. I love going to the water. Ankle, maybe knee deep, maybe knee deep, maybe. But I don't know if it was the movie Jaws that had me fear of water, but I've been in the water where there's a lot of jellyfish around, and you don't realize it till you're standing there and there's jellyfish. So, yeah. Now my wife loves to go out into the water. That's me. I'm different. I just don't like deep water. I just don't. It's just a fear. So shifting gears to tomorrow, if you look at the approximate timing, I'll show you the future track here coming up. Approximate timing tomorrow for the next round potential of anything severe. It's not an all-day chance. As I've said, there's going to be periods tomorrow where there's going to be sunshine, hot, humid, go outside and have fun. But stay alert because there will be storms coming in mid to late afternoon into the early evening, and some of those could be strong to severe. Here's the high-res model over the next few hours. It shows by 2:30, things are really quiet around here and really just kind of isolated through morning. It does show a few more showers back overnight, but not severe. Our in-house model shows the start of tomorrow being partly sunny. This is through lunchtime, and we're off to the races here as far as temperatures, upper 80s, nearing 90. And then notice around 2, 3 Eastern, potentially storms showing up along I-65, and then in that 4 o'clock hour. Now, this timing may fluctuate, but this is just showing you again, mid to late afternoon. We use this for guidance. Mid to late afternoon, a potential line of storms can move through. So that could possess that chance of strong wind gusts late afternoon into the early evening hours. It does show moving out late evening and still a few isolated storms overnight and into early morning Sunday, but it's that one line mid to late afternoon tomorrow that could get pretty strong. Got 3 clusters of storms here. All of these are not severe. Southern Franklin, southern Grundy near Tracy City, heavy rain, a little bit of lightning, and those downpours along southern parts of Cumberland County. And not a whole lot going on across North Georgia, and really not a whole lot anticipated. We'll see how that storm in Franklin County holds together. Looking at some other comments. Noah says, I have a fear of deep water and heights. I understand. How many of you have seen the latest Mission Impossible movie? I thought it was, the storyline kind of, people are indifferent on the storyline. It doesn't matter. The action in the movie is incredible. But there's a 20-minute scene underwater on a sunken submarine. And I don't like deep water. It had me cringing, but it's very good. And I highly recommend seeing it on an IMAX screen. But that 20 minutes of that movie had me just very uncomfortable because of the deep water. So I'm glad there are others that feel the same way I do about that. You're not alone. Again, not looking at anything severe locally. That one advisory for Franklin County and into northern Jackson. This is out till 11:45, and we'll hold here and see if there are any other advisories issued. But again, a lot of these are dropping way below severe levels. They are much weaker than they were earlier on, a couple of hours ago, and they were pretty impressive. But the atmosphere of rust got pretty much zapped out of a lot of energy because of the previous line of storms that, goodness, did some damage in spots. And I'll show you some of the reports coming up. But right now, this part of Franklin County, some wind gusts, so not rotating with that. And same thing again into southern parts of Grundy. Maybe some wind gusts with it, but not severe. Storm reports from earlier on today. These are reports so far relayed by the National Weather Service. These are called LSR, local storm reports. And you can see there were 4 locally. Let's see, I think around Mount Eagle, there were some trees down. That was during the very early evening, actually late afternoon, right before 5 Eastern, that part of Grundy County. And then near Brayton in Bledsoe County, some trees down there. That was around 6 o'clock Eastern. In Bradley, near the Old Fort area, that was around 6:40 Eastern. Power outages and some trees down there. And northern Monroe, near Madisonville, and trees and power lines down. That's what the storms, we were tracking those in the live stream at 7 o'clock Eastern. It's a pretty strong line of storms that came out of McMinn County. It did have some wind gusts near Nyota. If you were watching our live stream then, it was a very powerful line, and they quickly issued that severe thunderstorm warning, rightfully so, as that line made its way to the east. So not surprised to see that at all. But again, all these are below severe levels at the moment. Let's see other comments here. Ryder says Inglewood had trees down, very bad wind gusts and heavy rain. Yeah, you were right in line with that same storm that rolled through that part of McMinn County. Really that whole stretch around 411 for a while was pretty busy there. Hello, Rhonda and Ringo. Thanks for watching. Hello, Brandy from Saudi Daisy. Thanks for watching. See the latest SPC update here. I'll give you a Brave score. They're not losing, which is a good sign. It's 4-4, bottom of the 8th in San Francisco. Come on, Braves. I was at a loss for words for yesterday's game. How'd you guys feel? Same way? Goodness. Let's see. Storm Prediction Center update. I don't think they're going to have much updated. Nope. Everything's still good. So it's still pretty quiet rest of the overnight. So let's do another tracker on what's left of this cell here. As it moves to the east. I believe the movement was east at 20. It's been a slow mover. So what's left of this? So if that holds together, it's not as much lightning left than what it had, but these are all Central Time, Sherwood around near the top of the hour, but right at the top of the hour in Crossroads. Orm in Marion County around 12:14, and South Pittsburgh eventually. You're already getting some rain now, but might have some heavier downpours with what's left of that cell around 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. And notice again, the amount of lightning in the past 15 minutes is much, much lower than what it was like earlier. Boy, it was really lighting up the sky near Winchester. Now it's a lot weaker. So things are a little bit weaker out there. Weaker's good. Now we got some downpours coming over Signal Mountain, right over Raccoon Mountain, and heading towards Siftonia, downtown. So some good downpours, but not severe. Some of these downpours are going into Dade Walker. So you're going to hear it roaring on the rooftop, but these are not severe storms. And there's that cluster of heavy downpours, far northern Ray County, north of Spring City, southeast of Crossville, to Crab Orchard, making our way off to the east, heading toward Roane County. But again, not severe. Decatur, Athens, Calhoun, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ocoee, all getting some showers. Not severe. Really, the only lightning left is for that little cell over Franklin County of the past hour. About to borderline into Jackson County. Some of y'all commenting on the Braves comment there. Josh says they need a leader on the team. Yeah. They need something. I don't know what's going on. Ryder asking, do I ever ride horses? I've ridden horses in the past, Ryder. Yes, just not lately, but yes. And I've enjoyed that. Yeah. So again, this advisory is out till 12:45 Eastern. We'll hold and watch that to see if the strength holds. But for the rest of the area, not too bad. And unless there's any change there, we'll probably wrap up our storm tracking session. Again, you'll probably still hear some lightning overnight. I mean, some thunder from lightning strike, of course, and some downpours on the rooftop. But it's not too severe. Let's see. Heather says, in 10 miles, storms might be nervous, especially living in an RV. Ooh, yeah, especially. You're up in 10 Mile. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get some downpours there. A little bit of lightning, but it's not too bad. we had an RV growing up, and I remember when it would rain. And I don't know if RVs still sound like this when it rains, but this is in a Winnebago in the 70s, okay? But when rain would, I always liked it when it did rain. We were inside our Winnebago because it sounded like ping pong balls on the rooftop. So I don't know if RVs still sound like that. It's probably more insulated now and better, more improved over the past 40, 50 years, but I always thought it was a unique sound. It sounded like 1,000 ping pong balls falling on the roof there. But when it got windy and stormy in an RV, yeah, it's pretty scary. And when I was a kid, I'd be terrified. We were camping. I'll tell you this. We were in an RV park outside Salem, Massachusetts, summer of 77. Summer of 77, we took our RV from Chickamauga to Montreal and back. It's a lot of togetherness for a family of 4, but it was a 2-week trip. It's a great trip. I always remember it. However, we were camping outside Salem, Massachusetts, right there on the coast near I believe the town was Lynn, Gloucester and Lynn area. And we just spent time in Salem. So you're hearing all about, the witches, the witch museum, all that stuff. So I was 9, 10 years old and I'm hearing all these stories, terrified. Then we go in the RV and that night a big coastal storm comes up and we lose power. And so it's dark, the RV shaking. I'm hearing the ping pong balls of rain falling. And I'm thinking about what I learned in Salem, Massachusetts. And I was terrified. So I'll never forget that night. So, yeah. Funny memories. Again, not a severe cell there, just kind of zooming in on that one, but rain and lightning be clipping northern Ray, northern Megs, off and on showers, got showers around downtown, some good garden variety of rain. Same thing toward Tracy City. That cell really just kind of fell apart. Got a little noisy for a while, but east of Tracy City, not bad. All that's left is what's left of that little cell there. Boy, it's just nothing compared to what it was like before. Do a quick velocity scan there. It's kind of north of the radar, so maybe kind of obscured a little bit. But yes, many straight line winds with that. Yeah, winds up around 30 above the surface, so not too bad. All right. I see y'all listening to the story of the ping pong balls. No, that's not. We're not talking about a movie. We're talking about what the rain sounded like hitting the top of our RV when I was a kid. But it was back in the 70s. That's what it would sound like when the rain would hit the rooftop. I'm sure it's a lot different now. But Sarah was asking. So I think she came in mid conversation. What were we talking about? But that's what it was. So Layla says, I was in Marion, North Carolina during Helene. Oh, no, before evacuation. Said it was horrific, sounded horrific. I'm sure it did. I can't even imagine. I can't. If you're in that area when Helene came through, that was awful in so many ways. Whether you're affected by the rain or the mudslides. That's awful. Linda asking about tornado chance. Linda, the tornado risk overnight is really low with this system moving in. That ramps back up just a little bit tomorrow. There'll be a low end chance tomorrow afternoon. Caitlin says she can hear thunder in the distance near Inglewood. Yeah, it's mainly, when you're hearing that, it's kind of north of you, northwest, way off in the distance, but it's not approaching you. And it's just going to be a couple lightning strikes here. They're not quite as concentrated as it once was. Again, some downpours around Red Bank, north of the city. We'll get a few downpours here at the station shortly. And again, that one cell crossing down to Jackson County. We'll see what happens there in the next few minutes. But everything else is pretty, not too severe, but we'll hold it there. I want to see what that cell does right there, but everything else is pretty benign. Just a little loud at times. Sarah says no to the underwater movies. I understand. Tina says, is that storm headed for Dalton and Murray? Probably not. I mean, what's left of that storm, if you do, it'll be you can get some rain coming into Dalton and Murray County. That's going to be coming in from this area, but not too severe. There might be occasional little bit of lightning, but not too severe. Oh, so Sarah's asking, what movie were we talking about in IMAX? I was talking about the latest Mission Impossible movie. I highly recommend seeing it in IMAX. There's enough action in it for 3 movies. Storyline, love it or leave it. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's how Mission Impossible goes. It's, Impossible Mission Force. It's going to be way out there. It's best not to think about it. But the action in it is amazing. And especially on an IMAX screen, it's even better. But yeah, the storyline, don't think too hard. But that's it was a fun time. I saw the movie a couple of weeks ago, the opening weekend. I had a good time. That was fun. That was fun. Layla, I don't think this particular cell will affect us too much in Chattanooga. We're getting some rain here. This one's kind of moving more east, southeast a little bit. So I think rain and some lightning, and really that's all that's left of this one. The wind gust potential is a lot lower. There's a little bit of lightning with it, but it's all kind of falling into an area where it's much weaker. Notice how a lot of these cells are just falling apart. They're not being sustained because there's so much less energy now than there was earlier on in the day. So that first round really zapped all the energy out. And then it's the time of day that's left us with a lot less energy. Okay. That's why even these between Crossville, Harriman, Kingston aren't too bad, right along I-40. Everything else just kind of rain and a little bit of lightning there. So that's kind of what we're looking at. All right. So let me show you one more time for Saturday. We're weather alert again. It's an overall level 2 risk of severe storms. It's not an all-day thing. I think you can do some outdoor activities. It may start cloudy, gloomy, then become partly sunny. It's going to be hot and humid again. And then predominantly in this window between 2 and 6, 2 and 7, that's when a first chance of severe storms could roll on by. A secondary line is conditional on how much energy is left, but I'll still keep a chance in there tomorrow night for a few storms. But it's this round here that could have damaging wind threats, hail, even isolated tornado risk. So that's what's on the schedule for tomorrow, and we'll be watching carefully. Again, watch Bill Race first thing tomorrow morning between 6 and 8 a.m. later this morning, 6 and 8 a.m., and he'll be tracking these throughout the day as well. Any live streams will be posted on my page here as well, so you can watch that way. So we try to have so many different ways you can stay informed. All right, my friends, we're going to wrap things up here in just a few minutes. But overall, I thank you for watching tonight as we've just been trying to let you know what's happening for the rest of the overnight hours. It's going to be some rain, little lightning here and there, still some clouds with thunder in the distance. But overall, these cells are remaining below severe levels. So appreciate y'all as always for watching. There goes Josh Rowe. Yeah. Have a good night. Good weekend, sir. And we'll I'll continue monitoring these for a while and there are any more updates, we'll keep you posted. I will say this. Darren just asked this question. Jasper, seeing a light show coming for that storm? You sure are. You're seeing it just to your west right now. So over the past 5 minutes, there's been 4 to 5 different strikes. That's where you're seeing it from. The advisory just lifted there. We'll take another final look in that storm there. Okay, no longer seeing the rotation like we saw before. Yeah, it's much weaker than it once was. Still moving east at about 20 miles an hour there, but still a lot weaker. So it's going to put out some lightning. Here's some claps of thunder. It's going to put down some heavy rain heading into Marion County, but again, not severe. I'll track it for you here one last time. That's moving east at about 20. So what's left of that, we move in this general direction. With some more downpour, so Orem, north of Stevenson. Rain and lightning, but again, they've lifted all the advisories there with these storms. All right, my friends, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate the conversation tonight. Talked about a variety of topics as we watch the radar, but stay safe through the overnight hours. By all means, stay safe, stay alert tomorrow with that chance of storms again. Again, it's not an all-day chance. You can do some outdoor activities tomorrow, but toward the mid to late afternoon, start being a weather alert, weather aware that some storms could occur, and some of those could be strong to severe again. All right. Thanks for watching. If needed, we'll have other updates during the night. Otherwise, we'll sign off for now, and we'll still be watching and monitoring the radar. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe tomorrow.